Hey everybody, Ben here. I have a message for someone. First and foremost, thanks for clicking on this video and thank you for showing up for yourself. We're all going through something different and it does take a lot of strength to keep pushing forward. So when I first connected, it was kind of dark and there was like this huge wall. I mean, I couldn't climb it. I couldn't really even see the top of it. And I wanted to go over it. I wanted on the other side of that wall. And it best way I can describe it is like picture this huge warehouse, and it is such a long walk to the man door, the door that I could walk through to get outside and walk all the way around to the other side of this wall. Like it was such a long journey. And at that point, I asked, what's on the other side of that wall, and I saw like a red rose. Like it was almost like, I think it was Beauty and the Beast, and I looked it up, and it was like Beauty and the Beast, where there was a rose, and it was like that glass jar. It was lit, and it was preserving the rose. And I didn't recall, but I looked up the significance of it, and it was, the Beast. Uh, I think he was supposed to find love or experience love. Correct me if I'm wrong. And as time passed, the petal, a petal would fall off the rose as he was running out of time, and if he failed, he would be a beast for the rest of his life. So one thing did come through when I was looking up about that rose, which was like Stockholm syndrome, which I wasn't really sure what that was. And it's kind of like, falling in love or being okay with your captor, or like say you're in a relationship that's very toxic and we're becoming okay with the behavior because, this is I became dependent on them and they're controlling so much that, the little bit that they give, I'm thankful for. This is really like beaten down energy. I'm not saying that this is the direction of this reading, just throwing it in there. But what I did look at, like another example, not saying that this is what's taking place, but nothing against a female that's going through this. I'm just speaking on it. Like, let's say she's looking at her biological clock and she really wants to have children, and she just spent all this time in a relationship that failed or is failing, or like found out that the guy doesn't want to have children and she really wanted that, and she's looking at her clock, her timeline, and this wall, you know I can't get to what I want, and it's going to be such a long journey to have to start all over again, in a way that, I got to go through this, all through this warehouse, through that door, and walk all the way around to get this rose, something that's important. And really it doesn't have to have anything to do with a relationship. It could just be a fulfillment of some type, joy, a goal that we were working towards, and we hit a brick wall where we found out, wow, this isn't what I want at all. And I want that joy or that happiness, and now I got to start all over again. I did pull 5 cards. First card was basically, what's the collective feeling here? 5 of Swords reversed. Coming to a place of walking away, moving past old hurts, and seeing it differently. This could also be, say, we were following society's lead with something, and we found out that that's not going to fulfill us. What everybody else is doing isn't what I want. You know, I want to do what I want to do, and I'm not quite sure what that is, but I'm going to see things differently. And starting over does suck. I asked then, what's the collective going to do? Better judgment. Page of Swords reversed. Let's just use like the relationship, for example. And maybe we went into it with, our hopes and dreams of what we wanted to come out of it, and got to that point, and then the person was like, no, I never felt that way, I didn't want to have children, for example. And we if we would have been upfront about it, we would have known right in the beginning that, hey, this is a waste of my time. We also had self-evaluation, last judgment. We do have a second chance here. We have to take a little bit of accountability for, you know, not seeing the red flags, if we want to call it that, and, you know, evaluating ourselves. What is it that we truly do want? To move forward in that direction and to be honest and upfront. And then ask, what's out the door? Because obviously we gotta walk back. It's a long walk. Uh, call that almost like a recovery experience. Queen of Swords, informed decisions. This is, uh, we can look at this wisdom from pain or from an experience or hardship. You know, I look at that as everything is an opportunity, and we do go through these things to learn and to come into truly ourself. You know, if we didn't go through a painful situation, we may not have built boundaries, or maybe we went through a painful situation where we needed to learn to respect ourselves and present ourselves that way, so others would respect us as well, and we wouldn't repeat the cycles again. Last card, Eight of Cups, spiritual growth. This I asked about, getting the rose. And I did write down, leaving behind beliefs that aren't for our highest good. We could be going inward at this time to find out that what that rose was to us at that time wasn't fulfilling us or wasn't going to fulfill us. And we're reevaluating what the rose truly is to us. Whether that is, a goal or I shouldn't say, a job or a career, a relationship. Maybe we're changing a lot about ourselves at this time because we were going down a path that, we thought was right and it wasn't. And now we have to start all over. If we look at it as a career aspect, we went to college for, this degree and it's not what we want at all. And now it's like, wow, I wasted all that time. And it's going to be such a long journey to have to get a different degree in what I really want to do. Same thing in a relationship. I invested how much of this time? I met the families, I did all this, the friends and all this stuff, and moved in, and now I got to move out, or they got to move out, and we got to start all over again. If I want this a relationship again, I got to go through all that. I thought this was over. I thought this was, the rest of my life, and that's a long journey. Felt kind of somber, saying this, or this whole message that pretty depleted just in general. It does suck. It's like, oh, wasted all this time. But when we look at things from a different perspective of, I went through this for a reason to propel myself forward, and we got to get out of this blame. We want to blame ourselves and be hard on ourselves for, wasting time or missing red flags or, whatever it may be, and look at what did we get out of it? What did it propel us forward? And I think it's redirection of this rose, whatever it may be, that, I would have never seen what I truly want if I didn't go through this. I would have never built these respect or boundaries for myself, came into my power if I didn't go through this. So I just really hope everybody can see that aspect of, no matter what it is in your life. And I'll leave it there. And if it resonates with you, feel free to like or comment. And thank you for everything. Candle just burned out. The smoke's going everywhere. It's a new beginning. I wish you all the best. Take care, guys.